This conference will now be recorded.
As always, everything I'm going to be talking about today is for educational purposes only, and nothing is intended as any type of investment advice. All right, so today, kind of interesting. We started off our morning, especially with the cheaper stocks, just not getting a lot of follow through coming in whatsoever. And then it kind of changed a little bit, but we definitely, from what I'm seeing so far and the prints that we have, and just basically the trading that we have coming in, I'm not expecting a ton from a lot of things. I don't really have a very long list. Now, first thing I'm going to be looking at is this CCIV. So one of the things that I really did like about this, obviously, we got that huge move that came up towards towards the upside. Got halted, but it seems to be a little bit back to kind of a normal personality. So coming up to this 1150, we did get some decent prints, but really what I like the most about it is these off-level prints that came in afterwards. You can see this 1165. Somebody came in pretty hard. The only thing is it is kind of running up a little bit right now, and it should have pulled back a little bit more, but these off-level prints just keep coming in to really kind of show that we're going to be able to get that push. So just keep in mind, 1250 is a big level. We definitely have enough of this off-level buying. You can see even coming into that 12 to show us that we have the ability to get back up there. But the one thing that we're just going to be looking for as the rules is a kind of a hard pullback to bring us underneath all this buying that we've seen so far before we'd end up getting a nice move back up towards that 1250 as our price target. Now, Riot and Mara both at this moment, I mean, they're not really doing a ton of trading. The thing is, so we have a ton of selling that came in towards coming towards that downside. We've basically pulled up, and we came back down. Now we're coming back up towards those highs, which there definitely is buying, but both of them are in a really nice spot because what we're going to be looking for is with that selling coming towards that downside, and especially with this type of afternoon, not really giving us a lot of follow through, coming up towards that 25 level is going to give us a really good opportunity for us to be able to come back down because 25, just based off the prints that we have so far, is going to be a very hard thing to break in both of them. Mara is obviously already there, a lot closer. We're pushing up towards that 25 level. 528, we're way over range. I mean, volume's going to be pretty high above what the average is. So what I'm going to be looking at both of them is kind of finding that psychological spot coming up to that 25. Would love to see a huge burst of ass that come in there and look for that one trade to come back in, because just based off what I'm seeing, there just really isn't a need for it to have to continue to go back up. But obviously we're going to need the prints. So Romara is definitely looking a little bit better just because it's in a higher spot than Riot is. But one of the things that we've been seeing is these things are kind of mirroring each other. So if we get to that 25, we get those huge ass prints and we start pulling back, Riot's probably going to continue a little bit longer and then come underneath. One thing I don't suggest is to use one to trade the other at all. It definitely needs to have the prints themselves, but looking at a pretty decent spot for us to be able to get a nice trade coming back towards that backside. Like I said, the range, there just really doesn't need to be that much more range towards the upside unless we just start to see off-level buying that continues to show up and up and up. But when we come to those psychological levels, most of the time it ends up coming back down to what we're really looking at. And most of the prints that we saw coming in is definitely on the higher volume side of selling. So going to be looking for them to kind of come back to a little bit of reality. And then we have Ride. Ride came up to our 27 level. Not really as much as I would have liked to see. Now, this 27, I wasn't watching the actual order, but as it was coming up, it did look like it was hitting 27 on the ask side of things, even though these came in as below the bid. So from there, a really perfect case scenario, 2750 being kind of one of those psychological levels, kind of pushing up to there and then giving us a pullback from those 27 prints that we have down below. So really in this type of afternoon when we're not really getting a ton of real trading and real movement that's coming in, I'm gonna be looking for more of a shorter trades, that 50 cents or a stock that's getting away from where it needs to be and coming back towards it. It's been the best type of trades coming into today. I mean, I know DDD was one of my favorite trades coming in this morning, and it was the same type of deal, getting those pushes up there, but then kind of hitting that 2750. Then we got aspirins at 28, and we ended up getting those moves down. I'm going to be looking for some trades that look a lot more along the lines of something like that. So Blink printed at 50 because before it was not, it didn't really show much. So it looks like a lot in between, but at the same time, it does look like that was just based off what I can see, it does look like ass. That's another one that's in a really nice spot because of the fact that it's at 50, huge psychological level, going to be very, very hard for it to be able to hold this, especially just look at the puzzle. The volume on the daily side of things, you have $8.54 of a range, which is just way, way too high for what we've seen so far. It's going to hit average. It's probably going to go over average just based off of the trading that we're seeing coming in. But this is another one, perfect example of, that psychological level been pushing up, continuously, and a perfect spot to look at it for coming back to reality. Now, also SOS just popped up. This is something that we'll throw on our list. I don't know anything about it, considering I was just talking. But it looks like we're getting some nice prints coming around that 225 area. Okay, right here. This is beautiful. 220 to 223. Yeah, so a little bit of a pull. The only thing with this is just be careful with the range. I mean, it really doesn't need to get, even though this looks like a ton of buying that's coming in, 250 is kind of high, and 250 is also going to be a hard level for it to be able to break as well. So keep that in mind as well. Now, one thing, just an announcement, I am going to be announcing probably tomorrow, figuring out the day of our next round of classes. More than likely, this is tentative at this moment, but we're going to do 3 weeks again instead of the 2 weeks. I know I got a lot of people liked having those extra days to be able to kind of retain the information that we went over. So more than likely, we're going to be doing it the second week of February, starting Wednesday, Thursday that week, the 10th and 11th, then the 16th and 17th, Tuesday, Wednesday on the third week, and then 23rd and 24th the following week coming up. So just something to tentatively put in there, but I will announce later on this week, either tomorrow or the next day, of the exact dates, but that's more than likely exactly what it's going to be. All right, guys, let's get ready for our afternoon. I will talk to everyone in the chat, and happy trading.